Yo, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Oh, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Class is in session. Please be seated. Behaviors that get attention get repeated. Avoid the power struggle cause it will get you heated. Listen to Amanda cause she knows how to teach it. Yo, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Oh, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Yeah, yeah,
Hello and welcome to the Parenting with a Punch show. I am your host, Amanda Houle, founder of parentingwithapunch.com. I have a fabulous guest here today. Kateri Ruiz is the founder and CEO of Maia. Maia is a free, searchable national guide to women-owned products and services for both your home and business. Equality is their baseline. Every claimed business listed in the directory is at least 50% women-owned. Kateri believes in women's equality. More importantly, she will embolden women's equity, and she will not cease until all data sets can prove it. I love it. Let's give a warm welcome. Hello.
Well, hello. Thanks for having me.
Yes, welcome to the show. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's groovy. It's groovy to be here.
Absolutely. So talk to us about Maia.
Yeah, so Maia really started because of what was happening in my own home. I'm the mom of 4 daughters, and one day when my husband and I, about 5 years ago, I kind of had my aha moment. We're sitting on our living room floor watching an NFL football game, totally a typical Sunday, and the girls are playing in front of us. And it was the first time that I realized 5 out of the 6 people in my own household were female. And like literally, like mom moments. Yep. And yet we watched all male sporting events. Mm-hmm. And so my husband and I, we really prided ourselves on thinking that we were doing all the good things towards gender equality and not living stereotypical gender normed roles or lifestyles. Frankly, I was the one that worked. My husband was the stay-at-home parent. Cool. And so we were, we thought we were doing all these really great things. And then slowly we started to question whether or not we were really acting in alignment with our values. So, for example, when we were at the supper table at night, were we referencing female thought leaders equal to that of male thought leaders in our conversations? And then we looked at the movies we were watching, the books we were reading, was that equal? And then we morphed into products that we brought into our home. Were the products that we brought into our home created by women, designed by women, ideated by women, done on some level of a holistic image of a woman, over and over, we kind of started asking ourselves to prove it. And over, we were failing. And so finally, I get to this point, I'm just put your money where your mouth is. If 83% of your household is female, then 83% of your spending should be going to women-created, women-ideated products and services so that what we brought into our home was actually reflective of the people in our home. And I failed miserably. Terribly. And I was so bummed about it. So as I was trying to get the list, right? Where do I go to get woman created, women owned, women ideated things? And what I found was women owned businesses are all over the place. I mean, there's 12.3 million women owned businesses across the United States.
Yes.
It's just that they're all sitting in these little exclusive directories. Yeah. And so I was just well, this is free information. This is supposed to be accessible. If I want to adopt this lens to my buying decisions, I should be able to. And so I literally just started baking. We started baking Maya, and we were, our first mission was just to make it free, accessible, and literally be able to list every woman-owned. And we really stood for gender equality. So anything that was 50% or more women-owned, we put in there. But really what it's morphed into was humans who care, like, you and I, and frankly, everyone else in the world.
Yep.
Humans who care, they make, in addition to gender equality, they care about so much more. So I might care about, gender equality, but I also care about preserving and protecting this earth. And I also care about healthy eating. And I also care about, you name it, right?
Yes.
And so what we ended up doing was allowing these really cool woman-owned businesses to tell their story, to share with consumers what they're doing, what they sell, but also the passion behind it, the why behind it, the founding story, origin story, the whatever you want to call it. And then for the last year, we've just been monitoring internal search analytics and really trying to determine, what do humans really care about, and how do we give greater visibility to women-owned, women-created products and services. So that's Maya.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, as we know, being a woman entrepreneur, it's few and far. Well, I shouldn't say there's, like you said, how many, 1,000 businesses out there of women owned, but, it's really about tapping into sort of letting other, people know that they should be purchasing from women-owned businesses. So we can all sort of help build each other up.
Oh, it absolutely. We, there's 12.3 million women-owned businesses. There's a little over 200,000 that actually do greater than $1 million in annual revenue. So that's a smaller amount, right? Of companies who have scaled on any, on a significant level. But what's really important is understanding our own collective impact. So for example, if each female in the United States spent $20 a month for 1 year with women-owned businesses, the females of the U.S. would drive $39.6 billion into women-owned companies. But what's really impactful about that, what's crazy about that, is that that's 36.7 billion more than all venture capital funding spent with women-led companies in 2018. Literally, we could help drive a more female-centric economy. We could make it a more fair space by just choosing to spend our money with women-owned products and services.
That is absolutely incredible. It's, and we kind of started this conversation a few months back, but I've been obviously myself trying to get, it's been about a year and a half where I started using cruelty-free products, anywhere from your makeup to your skincare to your cleaning products to deodorant, toothpaste. And that decision has, especially, just being more of a mindful business owner, has been so impactful for myself, and just being more conscious in, purchasing those items from women-owned businesses. But it really got me thinking, actually, just last evening, and sort of creating, something that I can provide for parents at a very low cost, so we can, just drive more of that business. It really got me thinking, because $20 is not a lot of money at all per month. Think about the impact that could have.
I know. It's 4 lattes. It's really, it's not a lot, and yet it's significant. And then just imagine what it leads to. So it starts with 20, but then you find out that for your business, you've got a woman-owned supply chain, or a woman chain of custody, or, you name it. One good decision tends to build on other good decisions. And so it's crazy to think of the impact that we personally have as the CEOs of our own lives, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, what did that look like in your home? Like from your daughter's perspective, like when you started creating this, this business and this community of women and just women empowerment?
It's so funny. If you ask my 7-year-old, like, what does your mom do? She literally throws her hands out really, really wide. And she's like, she's all about the women. And, it's, they internalize it in different ways. It's
of course
hilarious to
and
hear them.
Their ages again, they're 7, 8.
Yeah. So 7, 8, 11, and 13.
Okay. So they're pretty close in age. I mean, at least, between the 11 and 13-year-old and obviously the 7 and 8, but yeah, it must be, but they sort of all have their own internal meaning of sort of what that looks like.
Yeah, like the ways that it comes out. What's crazy was, I worked in corporate America for almost 2 decades, and I never talked about my work. I mean, I would come home, and I really was at odds with my work. Much of the work that we were doing, I personally felt was unethical. So you duke it out with executive leadership all day long. You'd have to try to convince your teams that what we're doing is right when you know for a fact it's not. And I would come home so drained and so incongruent in my own belief system that I very rarely talked about work. And at my core, I love working. I mean, I love everything about it. I am naturally, I'm naturally a worker. And so
go-getter.
Yes. I mean, I like driving. There's not a number I don't want to hit. I mean, all the things, I love it. But I did not talk about work to my kids. And I think about that now, how that comes out when you come home at night and you try to have a conversation, or you're talking through problems. Right. And then I fast forward to modern day. And I've been doing this now for the last 2 years, kind of baking it. We launched 1 year ago. So we're just right now at our 1-year anniversary. But
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But now we talk about it all the time. I mean, I tell these awesome women's stories to the kids at night. I'll talk about thought leaders in the space. We'll talk about money conversations. We talk about conflict, but not conflict from a place of it's bad.
Right.
Yeah, but rather, okay, so we were trying to come up with this mutually beneficial arrangement. And this was one, on this end, these people were talking about this, and we were trying to figure out how we could collaborate in a way where we both come together and win. And so now the conversations are totally different and way more robust. And they have I'm guessing my children will have a more positive association with working as a result of it.
Oh, that is absolutely incredible. I'm serious. It literally gives me the chills to just being a parent and raising your children, in that environment, I just think is just so important, because it really just teaches them, a whole different level of, confidence and sort of taking responsibility for your own actions and being a go-getter and kind of just striving for what makes you happy. And I think that's really important for children to be modeled that, because, you get to, you go through high school and you get to college, and there's this whole, there's this huge pressure to go to school, right? And, we're spending so much money, but yet where are we teaching, emotional intelligence, or, how to have healthy communication? And, it's just, kids don't learn those things in school.
No, I mean, it's hard. It's so hard. What I think we all want our kids just to be really well-rounded, compassionate, thoughtful, free thinkers, who take responsibility and are able to, give praise and congratulations and recognize other people's strengths. And you want them to do all of these things. And they're not going to get it only from school. They're it's us, and it's us sharing our own life experiences, but in ways that's kind of meaningful to them. And this is one thing, like if the conversations around the dinner table can be robust in this way, where they're valid, they're relevant, they're timely.
Right.
I find I have a greater likelihood of the kids engaging in the conversation.
No, it's true. I mean, it obviously, and I think that's why, obviously, being a woman entrepreneur, we embody all of those characteristics, and to be able to, and again, you're in it, like you're present in whatever is going on in the business. So you're talking about all current things and sort of moving through the process like together. And I think that is just so cool for children to see.
I literally came home last night. We were having a conversation specifically about women of color in the entrepreneurial space, and what are the systemic barriers, and what can we be doing to move the needle, and I had a moment in that conversation where my own unconscious bias came out, and I said it, and then I caught it. And then I came home last night and I shared it, because I was like, this is how unconscious bias manifests. And like, this was my own.
Right.
And it was really, when they get to see their parents with really relevant topics and vulnerable, like,
yes,
saying like, these are the things that I even do, and I feel like I'm kind of with it, but I did it all the same, and being able to acknowledge that and then like talk about it, that's I like it. I feel I like it.
I mean, it's beautiful that you were able to recognize that and be able to own it, and sort of like talk about it, because I'm sure you're familiar with Brene Brown. I mean, she talks all about vulnerability.
Yes.
And especially, I mean, when you work for yourself as an entrepreneur, and I think especially as a woman in a male dominated culture, that being vulnerable is a whole other, beast, I think. And we women, or at least like to think that we are vulnerable. maybe not, as often as we would like, but
it's hard because you have this natural, I think, desire, like an inherent, I do believe that women have this inherent desire, authentic way of being vulnerable, but you have to present in a male dominated field with masculine economy characteristics. Right. And so we actually believe in, I don't know if you ever saw or take a look at, but Sister Is, it's a website, so sister.is, but she models what a feminine economy and what feminine economy characteristics could look like, and how you can come from a place of collaboration over competition, and how you can come from a place of abundance over scarcity. And these are other things that when we are talking, we're talking and naming. So like as examples will come up during the day, I'll share those with the kids at night, and I'll just be like, so this is an example of, in my past, how I would have had to respond to this, and now how I choose to respond to it. And this is the name of it. This is what you can call that.
Right. Oh, that sounds like I'm going to definitely have to check that out. And for our viewers listening, sister.is.
I love what she is doing. Love.
Oh, I'm definitely going to have to check that out. And and of course, there's also the money aspect in terms of just, investment and women-owned businesses getting venture capital, and it's not even close to as prevalent as it is with the male culture.
Oh, that, and just, the amount of bank loans. So, I mean, coming out of the investment space, but like the size of bank loans that are given to male-led businesses versus female-led businesses last year, where, the disparity there continues to exist. Mm-hmm. And what's different, what's hard is that women in order for their businesses, I always say that, business was created on androcentric, according to an androcentric representation, but and on those principles as well. And so when women want to even present their idea, present their business plan to a bank or to investors, they have to basically show up as the best male version of themselves in order to be deemed credible, bankable, fundable, or scalable. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like we could, if there were more women investing and coming from this place, and if there were more women making those financial decisions, and if there were more women modeling their businesses according to what they know to be inherently right for them and being able to come from that, the piece that Maya tries to help with is saying, we are also consumers, and we can help incubate you. So we can personally, we can help other women businesses grow by just giving them our business and then telling them what we would want from them and how we would want them to be able to authentically show up. And so we all have a place in this, even if we're not business owners.
Right. No, absolutely.
Even if we're not investors, even if we're working for corporate America, even if we're stay-at-home moms. I mean, it doesn't matter. What we all want is the ability to make the choice that's right for us and for our family and for our own lives.
Right.
Free from systemic barriers and free from financial strings attached.
Right.
So if we all get the ability to make our own decisions, we choose what we want to do, but we have a place in supporting women regardless of what that choice is.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And we're definitely, we're definitely gearing towards that mentality, but I still feel like we have a way to go because there's just so much, I just feel like there's so much clutter, and just with social media and it's hard for, I think, like your average individual to kind of like sift through until you really, own and recognize like your own values and sort of, again, sift through like what works for you. Right.
Yeah,
and
it's overwhelming. Yeah.
It can be very overwhelming, but also extremely empowering when you get to that place of purpose and then just being able to, to give back. And I'm telling myself, I can promise you right now, I'm in the Maya community, but to be able to I'm going to specifically look for businesses as far as just even the cruelty-free living that I can start purchasing. Cause I have to start doing it just religiously. Like I've been making these choices in my life. I think it's so important.
Yeah, I mean, and what you said though is so true. Like you just start with the one thing thing that seems digestible at the time, because it can be overwhelming and there is a lot of noise. I call it noise, but there's so much noise. And so just pick the thing that makes you feel like you got one step in the right direction, and that's good, and feel good about it. Yeah. No,
absolutely.
But when things start to line up,
the
peace that you have about it, the overwhelming sense of like congruency, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's true. I've definitely, I think I've pretty much reached that place, and I'm pretty proud to say at 37 that it's a pretty amazing feeling.
It's so good. Yes,
it is. And I was just saying, so you basically already answered my question on, sort of leaving an impact for your children and being an entrepreneur, and just, you talked everything about just showing that, that vulnerability and having those open conversations and, again, just like talking about what's current in the world today. And, I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to add with that, but I just met somebody the other day as well, a stay-at-home mom. Well, no, I'm sorry. She's not a stay-at-home mom because some of the kids are older, but she just started an oil company, and they make the oil I believe out of Greece. I forget exactly where it is. And so they have the flexibility to be able to take their kids with them, to be able to sort of like go through the process. And I just think it's such a beautiful thing to be able to teach children, what sort of role they can kind of play and just have those independent decisions.
Oh, for sure. And that's cool. I love that they're getting a chance to experience that and see it and see how cool their mom is for doing it. Yes.
Right. Yeah. And my other question too would, in the parenting world and just the game, of course, because this is a parenting podcast, but what would you say, just being a mom entrepreneur, for other mom entrepreneurs out there, especially for those maybe that are kind of just starting out, regardless of whether or not they have, younger ones or, regardless what age their children are, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give them to just kind of own it and kind of get started, in being a mom entrepreneur?
Oh, I know, like, one thing, vulnerability, I think, is key.
Yes.
I agree. And in addition to that, the dialogue around it and the free thinking, and then being forgiving, to yourself and to others. And
right.
I think that's probably the greatest, at least for the ages that my kids are at right now. And frankly, I don't know what happened. I don't even know what I don't know yet.
Exactly.
But
that's the name of parenting. That's just how it is. That you ebb and flow. And
the minute I feel like I figured something out, then it changes.
Right. Something else comes up, right?
1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just acknowledging that and talking about it and being forgiving around it, I think, is huge, because then you're really modeling what you hope that they can give themselves,
right,
now and later as they grow, and what they hopefully will do with their friends and with their loved ones. And
that's awesome. I think you're right on target. I mean, it just really teaches children how to just be more compassionate and kind of just, you taking responsibility and just you're modeling for them to do the same.
Yeah.
That you don't learn, you learn that from the closest adults in your life. And to me, I think that's priceless.
Yeah. It's hard. Yes.
It's hard, but you're doing it and you're a total rock star. So keep rocking it.
And it really, truly, it is really fun. Like, they are at the ages now where it's really fun most of the time. Sometimes it's they have awesome thoughts and they challenge. And what I find is, especially as the mom, I'm usually all of the exercising of free thinking, that usually always comes at my expense. So if you truly teach free thinking, it most often comes back at the parents, but and mostly I feel like at the mom. But I support that, because it's their ability then to verbalize like what they're observing and to change that, and to, even when they're challenging it, saying it in an appropriate way. So like sometimes I'm like, you're right, you're accurate 1,000%, but now think about the way that you're saying it. And is that how you would want it to come back at you? Or is that,
Of course. Yeah. Well,
yes.
Again, you're teaching them that responsibility to just, own it. And that is key right there.
That's big. Yes.
It is. It's huge, because I feel like that's a lot of the work that I do in helping parents, and I get, the forgiveness too, is just kind of not beating yourself up and giving yourself grace.
That's easier said than done, but yes.
I know it is. This is true, but it's one step at a time.
Yep.
One step at a time. Well, it was such a pleasure having you on the show today.
Well, thank you. It was groovy talking to you. I do have one thing, Amanda. So if if you have women business owners who are listening and they want to be a part of Maya.
Yes, please share the info.
Yeah, please. So it's maia.community.
Yep.
And I'm also, you can use this free subscription code. So for a woman business owner, they get to tell their story on our site, and think of it as advertising, connecting with the audience, all of that.
Okay.
It's $25 a year, but we're happy to sponsor your first year for free. So anybody listening, if you want to go on, and you can pass this on to a friend, like it's meant to be more the merrier. It's Maia, MAIA.community is the site. But when you log in, after we attach you to your business, you'll use this subscription code to get a free year. It's MAIA Pay It Forward. So Maia Pay It Forward. And feel free to use that.
Thank you so much. That is freaking awesome. Listeners, jump in on it. Tell your friends if you're not a business owner. Thank you so much. That was so kind of you to offer that. That is amazing.
My pleasure. It's all of us coming together. Yes.
Absolutely. Working together and building each other up. Let's lift each other up as women and keep doing what makes us happy and lights us up and bringing that light into the world. And that's how we, transmute it to others. And it's kind of just that ripple effect.
Yes. All the yeses.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in to the Parenting with a Punch show. As always, keep asking for more. Your family deserves it. Visit parentingwithapunch.com to learn all the ways that you can work with me and join our mailing list. Have a great day, y'all.
Yo, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Oh, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Class is in session. Please be seated. Behaviors that get attention get repeated. Avoid the power struggle because it will get you heated. Listen to Amanda because she knows how to teach it. Yo, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Oh, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the